Hey everyone. Sometimes you come across something, maybe just a short piece of writing, and it just clicks. It puts a name to a feeling you've had.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. One of you shared this really insightful piece with us all about the creative journey.
That's right. It actually originated as an Instagram post, which then got highlighted over on the YouTube channel, Gaya Carmel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was part of a pretty intense 90-day content creation challenge she was doing. This specific piece was from day 42.
D42. Wow, right in the thick of it then.
Exactly. Kind of the midpoint slog, you could say.
So our goal here, our sort of mission for this deep dive, is to unpack its core message for you. Why patience, why belief matters so much, especially when, the results aren't showing up immediately.
Mm-hmm. That waiting game.
Yeah. So let's start with that central image it uses. Planting seeds in the soil of the consciousness of creation. What's that really about?
Well, think of it like this. It's that very first step. You have an idea, an intention, maybe a project you want to start. That's you planting the seed. It's putting your focus, your initial energy, into the fertile ground of, well, potential.
Right, setting the intention. And then comes the tricky part, doesn't it? Those days when you won't see growth or results.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been there.
Oh, absolutely. You're putting in the work, you're tending the soil, so to speak, but nothing seems to be breaking through the surface.
And the piece even mentions how the mind tries to tell you how unworthy you are during that time. That familiar inner critic voice.
Yeah, that's often when the doubt really creeps in, isn't it? Because you lack that external validation, that visible progress. It's a vulnerable time.
But this is where the piece offers that key reminder, the core message, really. The precise time for the flourishing of your request is materializing beneath the surface.
Exactly. It's not that nothing is happening, it's just happening out of sight. Like roots spreading underground before the plant shoots up. It's unseen development.
It's a huge perspective shift, actually. It reframes waiting, not as stagnation, but as a necessary incubation period, trusting the process.
Precisely. And think about it in your own life, right? Learning any new skill, a language, an instrument. There are always plateaus where it feels like you're stuck.
Yeah, definitely.
But looking back later, you realize crucial connections were forming, things were consolidating, even if you couldn't perceive it day to day.
Okay, so it's about trusting that unseen work. Then the piece shifts to your role in this. It says, your role now is to believe, to know, and to remember the power of creating your reality through thought.
Uh-huh. This is the active part during that waiting period. It's not passive waiting. It's active believing.
And it makes a pretty bold claim. Every thought is essentially a prayer that manifests just as a mirror reflects, connecting thought directly to manifested reality.
Well, it's emphasizing the power of your focus, your mindset. If you're constantly focusing on doubt or lack during that waiting time, you're kind of reflecting that back.
Right. Whereas if you actively cultivate belief, focus on the knowing, you're nurturing the seed you planted.
Exactly. You're tending to the inner environment even while the outer results are still developing.
The piece also suggests, looking back, remembering the journey you have gone through and the ways and challenges you have overcome. How does that help?
Oh, that's huge. It's like building up your own internal evidence. Remembering past successes, remembering times you pushed through difficulty, it strengthens your conviction now.
So it fuels your belief in your own creative power, your ability to see things through. Like, I've done hard things before, I can do this too.
Precisely. It shores up your confidence when that external validation isn't there yet. You draw on past resilience.
Now, thinking back to the context, day 42 of 90, that midpoint, that really highlights the perseverance needed, doesn't it?
It really does. Day 42. You're likely past the initial excitement, the novelty has worn off maybe, and the end isn't immediately in sight. That's pure grit territory.
Yeah, you're running on fumes and, well, that belief we were just talking about.
You have to keep showing up, keep tending the soil, trusting that something is happening beneath the surface, even if day 42 looks a lot like day 41.
So wrapping this up, the big takeaway for you listening seems to be this. Embrace the patience. Trust that unseen process.
And recognize the power in your consistent effort and, crucially, in your belief, even when things look quiet on the surface.
Which leads us to maybe a final thought to kick around. Where in your life right now are you in that day 42 phase?
Yeah. What seeds have you planted that might be developing just out of sight? Can you hold that belief, nurture that thought, and trust the timing?
Something to think about. Thanks again for sharing this force with us. It's been a really valuable reflection on patience and belief.